It's almost mid-April here in North Carolina, and so far our water levels have been pretty okay. We started out with a deficit, but we've gotten several inches of rain within the past week or so. So my containers on the back porch are looking great. Now, the issue is that as the summer wears on, we are going to have issues with water. We go through long stretches without water, oftentimes several weeks, and last year it was a couple of months without much water. So in order to make sure my containers do well, I am going to be installing a container drip irrigation system on my back deck, and I'm going to take you guys along with me. I chose the Drip Depot Deluxe kit because it was big enough to cover the amount of containers that I have now, plus gives me some to grow on. So the amount of containers that this particular kit can handle is 30. So I'm going to show you from start to finish. We're going to do an unboxing, and then we're going to get right into all the parts that come with it. I'll show you how, what my setup is. We'll go through a sketch, and then finally you'll see exactly how this thing is set up from start to finish. I also ordered a timer. I'm not sure if the timer came in the box because I haven't even done the unboxing yet. You guys know just as much as I do about what's in the box at this moment. So anyway, stay tuned for that. Stick around and watch if you're interested in learning how or seeing exactly how to install a drip irrigation kit for your house.
Now let's just unbox this guy right now. You're opening it up the same time I am, so we get to see together what's in here. Now this is, I did get the timer as well. The timer does not come with this deluxe kit as it is, but because I bought them together, they both come in the same box. So this is a very straightforward 3 outlet water timer, and I will show you how that comes together later. This unboxing is going to be pretty straightforward. They don't have any sort of very highly marketable or marketed flashy packaging like they would if you were buying it from a store. This is just all bare bones, basics, and that's fine with me. So just showing you here, this is the 100-foot quarter-inch tubing. That is the main line. That's the backbone of the system. Those are stakes. There are 30 stakes there, one stake for each pot, or actually there might be a few more than that in there, but each drip emitter will get a stake. It will be affixed to a stake. That's our pressure regulator. That is 25 psi. That helps regulate the pressure. Those are the goof plugs. Those are plugs for the very end of the kit. And this is an itemized list of everything that's in there, which was very helpful for me, as well as the QR code at the bottom, which gives you some really handy instructions. You take a picture of that, or you just hold that up to your camera app, and it shows you some really handy instructions on how to install. These are some of these are either curved, barbed, they're just connectors. They're the things that when you cut that main line, you're going to connect the two pieces that you cut with these connectors. And you can have connectors that bend in an elbow shape, they can be straight. That is the brass pressure or vacuum something or other. I'll have to see what that is. That other item that was a filter, those are some more barbed connectors, and those are elbow connectors. All of those just allow you to do different things with your setup. They allow you to turn around corners, and they also allow you, if you have a cut in a line, you can just, and you want to keep it straight, you can do that with some of those. So here I am making sure that everybody is here, and so you just have your list of everything there. I just showed that to you so you could see it all. And this is the water timer. I picked this water timer up separately, and this is the unboxing. It's pretty straightforward. It's very watertight, and there's an input from the hose, and then there are 3 outlets, and it just takes 2 AA batteries. So nothing really difficult to put in place there, just basic stuff. So here's a little bit of a layout of what my back porch looks like, and I sort of wanted to think about it because that was going to be very important for me, just to get an idea of what I wanted to do there. Here I am just getting my bearings on this mainline tubing. I like to soften it up with a lighter just to kind of see how pliable it's going to be. I check that before I do anything else with it. And this is the connector. This takes the water from the hose, the size of the hose, and it kind of brings it down to a 1/4 inch. And so we are just making this pliable so I can stick that on. It ends up being that I don't need that flame to soften the plastic. I can just use the force of my hands to put that on. But at that time, I didn't realize it. So this is a connector that goes onto the hose assembly, and it is what allows that hose assembly width to change to the 1/4 inch tubing that you need and that you'll run. Here's the timer. I had 2 manifolds already, so I put the timer on one manifold and my regular hose is on the other, and I'm just plugging this in or screwing this onto the pressure regulator just to kind of get a basic idea of how things are going to work here. This is down below my back deck, so I have to run this tubing up, and I'm just making sure here that everything's on pretty secure so that I can, be relatively sure that it's not going to leak everywhere. And again, this is my 100-foot hose or 100-foot main line, and that is the backbone of the system here. So we're going to take this, and there are no holes in this. There are no holes at all. So it's a picture of my back deck up there. I'm going to pop this on top of that railing, and then I'm going to show you what it looks like from above. And I will fix that. I'll probably put it in the ground, or I'll run it along the brick and make it look nicer. But for now, I wanted you to see the basic layout and mechanism of how this stuff works. So here we are. We're up on top of the back deck, and this is connected. This is a pliable hose, and it goes all the way up here. These are the containers. I've got 3 trees in here, and I have a rosemary plant there that I definitely want to connect. And you can see all of my pots up the top, and you can see I've already run the hose right here. I've just laid it out to make sure that I knew about how much length I needed. And what I'm going to do is cut a hole or cut that main line in half and run a larger section down into those trees. And I'll probably put 2 connectors in each of those just because they're trees, and I want to make sure they get enough water. They probably won't need as much as the onions and garlic that are up above them. So here we are. I have to I have to cut and then put in a T connector and then put some more things on there. So I'm just showing you the process. This is before I realized that I could just do this by hand. So I have my lovely daughter helping me with the fire. So here we go. This is the line. I've cut a little piece of it, and that is what is going to go from the main line into a container. So each container needs its small little piece of that line. So here we are, just softening up the tip a little bit. There we go. So it makes it much easier to go on, and lickety split, there it is. And so here we go. This is the main line. And I'm going to show you this again. We just make a cut, and then you put a T connector in there, and that's it. And here I'm just doing it by force, and it turns out that here we are. I can do this without the fire, and it makes it a lot faster. So I do this process for every container. I make a cut in the main line. I take a small piece, I take a T connector, attach both ends of the cut, and then with the free end, I take a small piece like you see here, and that is going to go down into the pot. And then at the very end, we'll put one of the 1/2-gallon emitters onto that end, and then we will have a little stake that will hold that emitter in place in the container so that the water goes where we want it to go. And it's a really straightforward process. It's pretty basic. Here we are. You can see here we've got the main line. I think at this point in the video, I've got all of them, or I'm starting. No, I don't have all of them yet, but I'm starting to make my progress down the line of all these containers. And so that is the work, some of the work that you don't see, but it's just the same stuff that you saw. And here we see that's the main line, and then we have a stake with the emitter just right there, just right above the surface of the soil, and that will come right out. And that's what it looks like. It's not the most beautiful thing, but I didn't care. If I cared about the aesthetic of these particular pots, I would have chosen a different system that doesn't float above. This is the very end. This is called the goof plug. It is what seals up the very end of your system. And so I'm showing you here what this looks like. I'm going to turn the water on and you're going to see this baby work. So here's the setup. You have the timer, then you've got a brass like vacuum breaker, I believe, a filter, the pressure regulator, and then you have the small the adapter basically that turns it into the 1/4 inch. And yeah, it's not the most beautiful thing, but it works. So on the right side is my regular garden hose, and here I'm just showing you really quickly how easy it is to turn this baby on. You pick the manifold that you want to turn on, you tell it how long you want it on for, and there you go. And we're just pressing start here, and you can see the line move. And when it moves, you'll know that it's forcing water through. There we go. You can see that if you wanted to replay it again. That water is forced right through there. And you want to make sure that none of those joints that you've made blow off. And that's what I'm looking for here. And I looked in all of them and everything is fine. There we see we're dripping away. This is exactly what we wanted. And it's really straightforward. I do now have this set up on a timer. I'm going to do the trees later, and all I'll do is cut another place in the main line, put a T in there, and then run the line down to the container. The reason that I'm doing it later is I had to buy a little bit more main line. I only have enough mainline tubing for 2 of the trees, so I thought I would just wait and do them all together when I have more. These are dwarf apple trees, so we're going to see how they do on my back porch. And yeah, thanks guys. It was really this simple. I did cut out just a little of the repetitive stuff, but it's not hard. It's just the same sort of thing over and over again. And it's really straightforward. I love, as always, that you're here with me. I know you could have been anywhere and you did choose to be with me, and I do appreciate that. I hope that you can learn from this. If you got something from it, give it a like and a subscribe, and I will see you later in a future video. And I hope that all of your plants stay nice and watered this season. Bye for now.